Hey everybody, I had to replace my brake lines on my pickup truck. The guy who had the truck before me had compression fittings on it, so I had to remove the compression fittings. That's a compression fitting. Has that little ring that goes between the two nuts so that it seals, but you can't use those on brake lines, so we have to undo that. So I had to cut the compression fittings off and replace that whole section of brake line, steel brake line. So I wound up having to flare the ends of the new section because that's how they go on. So that's the old compression fitting. That's how that goes. And you see when you take that ring off, you see that ring in the middle right there? Okay, when you take that off, you're gonna have to cut it off, and you're gonna have to use a file or pipe cutter to cut the where the compression fitting was. It just simply wraps around the pipe. You kind of clamp it down on that with that wheel on the bottom, and you just work it around the pipe, and it slowly cuts through the pipe, nice and clean. It won't crimp it. It just does it nice and clean, and you can rent a flaring kit from an auto parts store like I did. So when you return it, you get your money back. So that's free. Now these flaring kits have everything you need to flare a pipe, and it also has instructions. So just follow the instructions. You're gonna cut that pipe off. You're gonna put that, see that, depending on what size of pipe you have, you're gonna stick it through there. It's like a yoke, and you just kind of tighten the ends down around the pipe. And it has these little buttons. The little buttons have kind of like pins on the bottom, and that sticks inside of the pipe. See, that goes inside of the pipe, and then you're gonna use that. Looks like a gear puller that comes with it, and you just tighten it down, and it starts to crimp and flare the end of the pipe so it's nice and rounded. That's what you need. That's how it looks when it's crimped. That's a crimped pipe, factory crimped. That's flared out, and that's gonna work better than the compression fittings. And you use a file to clean it up. This is the section I had to replace. The section to the left obviously is the old part, and I had to cut it there at the compression fitting and slide that gold nut back and crimp that end, because you have to crimp it before you have to flare it before you take that nut off, because after you flare it you won't be able to put the nut back on. So you take that gold nut, slide it down to the left, flare the end of that pipe, and then bring the nut back up. And then a new section comes with hardware already, so you can just join the two and put them together. That's where I cut it, and that's where I joined it together. And so that way you don't need compression fittings, and you can pass your inspection. So again, compression fittings, take them off, pipe cutter, file the ends, rent you some tools. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. Have a blessed day.